What is going on? What is going on? Yo, it's your boy Julien Stoutt, licensed personal trainer, licensed PE teacher, world record powerlifter, special education teacher, here to take the fear out of fitness. Guys, we're about to take off and class is in session. It's been a week. I got a lot to do. And I'm here with you guys because I want to have a very real, very frank conversation with y'all. How many of y'all have heard the story about the dog and his reflection? The ASAP story, right? For those of y'all who are too young to have fairy tales and fables told to you as children, there was a story about a dog who had a bone in his mouth. And as he was walking across a bridge, he happened to come across another dog staring back at him in the still of the river. And he saw that the dog had a bone just like he did. in the process of that dog seeing the other dog with a bone, he goes after it. He lunges for it, lashing out with his teeth to try to grab it. And lo and behold, his bone fell in the water. Not only losing the bone that he tried to acquire, but losing the bone that he already had. Now, the one thing that I've told you, the one thing that I will always be consistent on is the motto. The motto is simple: mindset, encouragement, accountability, and nutrition. Okay? And I am going to always find a way to get back to that North Star. Now, you see the title in the thumbnail. You can't have it your way. Just like the dog who tried to get 2 bones, lost the one that he had, he didn't get it his way. He didn't get his way. If he had it his way, he'd have 2 bones. But here's the irony of it all. Let's say the bone was real and he did acquire the second bone. When he looks back in the reflection, how many do you think he was going to see? He's going to see 4. And what do you think he's going to want to do? He's going to want to go and get those 4. And eventually his mouth is not going to even be able to hold all of the bones that he's going to acquire, because then it's going to turn to 4, then it's going to turn to 8, then 8 into 16, 16 into 32, 32 into 64, 64 into 128, 128 into 2, 56. How big does your mouth have to be in order to keep multiplying, or actually exponentializing, not even multiply, keep exponentializing your wants? Well, needless to say, the young lady that you see in the thumbnail, her name is Dank DeMoss. She's a rapper from Detroit. That's her rap name. I do not know her real name. I'm sure it's going to come up in the news reel that we're going to play here shortly. But you're going to notice a few things about her if you haven't already. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And when I share my screen with you, it's about to get really real.
Tonight on The Edge, a Detroit rapper is going viral for something other than her music.
Fans know her as Dank DeMoss, and they're fuming after a Lyft driver allegedly denied her a ride because of her size. And Fox 2's Jessica Jupnak is live in Detroit with this story. And my goodness, tell us how this all unfolded here, Jessica.
Well, it all unfolded on video. Deja Banley whipped out her phone when this all happened. Now, the Lyft driver, he was kind enough and apologetic, but refused her a ride and said that she would not fit and that her weight couldn't be handled by his tires. Now she's filing a lawsuit. Have you been in cars that size before?
Yes, I have. I've been in cars smarter than that, you know.
Deja Blanding tells us she was just trying to get to a Detroit Lions watch party this month when her Lyft rolled up.
As I'm walking, I see him like making faces or whatever. I'm like, oh man.
She already knew.
I can fit in this car.
Believe me, you can.
Yes, I can.
Believe me.
He told her there's not enough room in his car.
The kicker part was when he started to talk about his tires. You know, I feel like that was a slap in the face. That was like my tires, you know, like.
The driver said his tires could not handle her weight.
Every big person you turn down because they can't fit in your car.
Because they need to order the Uber XL.
You know what? I don't never have to order Uber XL.
He apologized, canceled the ride, and left her there. The rapper says she's pretty tough. Dank DeMoss, as she's known at the mic, is crushed by the whole situation.
I just want them to know, like, it really hurt my feelings.
It looks like a Lyft might be hurting pretty soon, too.
I knew it was illegal and I knew that it was wrong.
Her attorneys, John Mark.
I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to get back into it in a minute. First of all, You do not know the condition of that man's car. Lyft does not pay for the upkeep of your vehicle as you utilize it for service for other people. Could he have been lying? Sure. I don't know about you, but have you seen people of a certain size getting in and out of a vehicle and the amount of stress that it puts on shocks and struts? Do you know that maybe his tires may not be able to handle that type of stress? Because according to reports, she weighs anywhere between 400 and 500 pounds. Okay? I've seen videos of her or pictures of her in vehicles, and they were the vehicles that I saw her in, personally, that I saw her in, were like minivans. Does that mean she's lying about what kind of car she gets into? No, I'm not suggesting that at all. But what I am suggesting is that if the vehicle is not accommodating, why should it accommodate you? If the vehicle is not accommodating, why should it accommodate you? I don't ever see an NBA player, or even a WNBA player for that matter, getting upset because they can't fit into a vehicle. They're tall, they're lanky, they're long. It might be uncomfortable. Their head is, even if they are going to be uncomfortable in the ride, they're not going to impose their feelings of displeasure about the nature of their being onto other people. They know they're tall. There's nothing they can do about it. What are you going to do? Cut your legs off? What you going to do? Sever your spine? They're not going to do that. Which, sever their head a few inches. They're not going to do any of that, right? Because it's asinine. You can't change any of that. But, Mr. Moss, you can. You can change all of it. Now, the one thing that I'm going to make sure that you guys understand is that I am not fat shaming her. And it's not what this is. Let's call a spade a spade. Is she in any resemblance of size that would be appropriate for her to get into a car, a mid-sized vehicle, and be either comfortable or not stress a vehicle in such a way where it won't be accommodating? Think about it. She weighs equivalent to about approximately 3 to 4 people by herself. Let's be real. If she weighs 400 pounds, at least 3 people. So it'll be what, 125, 127? So, average person about 127 each. No, more than that. 133 each, which is actually closer to that. Is it necessarily okay to do that? No. I'm not saying that she shouldn't have her feelings hurt. But why do we feel like everybody should accommodate us because we have the desire to? We just went through it with LGBTQ cakes and religion. And they clearly told you that the vendor has the right to refuse service. The vendor has the right to refuse service. It's not like he took your money. It's not like he was disrespectful to you. He didn't talk crazy to you. He didn't say hateful things to you. He tried to be as decent as humanly possible while refusing the ride. Is he concerned for his vehicle? Maybe he is. Is it right? That's not for me to say. Maybe he has legitimate reasons of concern for his vehicle. Maybe his shocks and struts aren't that great. Is it unserviceable? Maybe not. But maybe his shocks and struts may not be able to handle that much. If he saw that there's one passenger, maybe he was like, okay, one passenger's cool. Ain't no big deal. But then when he sees that one passenger is the equivalent to 3 people, maybe he would refuse. Maybe he's refused rides of more than 2 people in a lift at any given point in time. Maybe that's what he's done. You don't know. If it was more than 2 people in a ride, he probably refused it. He even suggested an alternative for you. He didn't just leave you stranded out in the cold and just told you, peace out, I got nothing for you, and hate it for you, you ain't gonna get nothing. He said maybe you can get a Lyft XL. Maybe you can get a larger vehicle. But because you didn't want a larger vehicle, you decided to not do anything. And your fans, while they are your fans, they're not being straightforward and honest with you. Ma'am, you are not healthy. And nobody should have to accommodate your lack of health in a way that causes more problems for other people. Now, if an SUV refuses you, something that pulls boats, not saying that that's what your size is, but I'm giving you an understanding of what I'm saying logically. If something as powerful as a pickup truck, something as powerful as most SUVs, refuse your service or refuse service to you, now this is more about discrimination based on your size as opposed to concern for the utility of their vehicle. Now you are saying something. This man is driving a low model vehicle, a small model vehicle. It really hurts your feelings. Fine. It hurts my feelings too. It would hurt my feelings if you were my girlfriend. If you were my wife, it would hurt my feelings. It would upset me to the utmost. However, if we're being real here, what is the reality of it all? Are you causing a problem for other people based on your size? Are you creating problems for yourself based on your size? And instead of looking at it from that perspective, instead of looking at it from the perspective of how you affect others, you don't care. You want what you want, and that's the end of the story. Too many times I've already covered artists. Too many times I've covered social media stars who have died way too early off of pride, off of trying to make an extra dollar based on the image that they've presented at the time. Ma'am, you could barely walk. You are literally in video walking and you're struggling. But I'm going to go further. We're going to get into it.
And Zach Runyon say weight is a protected characteristic in Michigan by law.
It would be no different than a driver pulling up and saying, you know, I don't want to have black people in my car, or I don't want to have Christians in my car, or Muslims in my car. It's the same. Under the law, it's the same.
The lawsuit is filed since she...
He didn't say because of your weight. He said my car will not accommodate you. There's a difference. My vehicle will not accommodate you is a whole big difference, as opposed to you're too big, I'm not, you're big, I don't want to drive you. I have an SUV, a Suburban. I pull up to pick you up because that's what you ordered, and I go, nah, you're too big for my vehicle. Clearly that's a lie. That would be a lie. Is it unreasonable for someone to tell you you are not going to be able to be accommodated by my vehicle? I didn't say I don't want to drive you. Your vehicle is not accommodating. My vehicle is not going to accommodate you. So, in that logic, using that logic, what we're suggesting is that I'm 5 feet 4 inches tall, 155 pounds, and I want to sit in a car seat. I demand that I sit in a car seat. If you don't have a car seat for me to get into when I get into your vehicle, we're going to have a problem. Because I want a car seat. I want to feel secure in a car seat. Can I be accommodated legitimately by a car seat? No. I know some people might have jokes and say yes, but in all honesty, no. Cannot be. So am I going to get what I want? You're discriminating against me because of my size. I want to sit in a car seat. I want to sit in a car seat. You are discriminating against me because of my weight. Why don't you have a car seat that will accommodate a man that is 155 pounds? I demand to know. Graco, why don't you have a car seat for adults? I want to know. That's discrimination. That's hate speech, or that's hateful practices. Why can't it be, I just don't, you're not in my market? Again, it's not like we're talking about there are no other vehicles that can accommodate her. We didn't say no vehicles, no vehicles, nobody's driving you nowhere, girl. Nope, sorry. You too big for everything. What they're saying is, you're too big for that vehicle. Why is that a problem? If I built a door, okay, good example. How tall are doors? I guarantee you most doors aren't over 6, won't accommodate anybody over 6'6". So why is it that most doors don't accommodate men or women that are over 6'6"? I'll wait. Why? Why don't most doors accommodate people over 6'6"? Because they exceed a certain amount of height that is beyond the scope of normal. Even within the extremes. So when we look at the bell curve, there's an average, there's a below average, there's an above average, and then there's extremely below average, and there's extremely above average. Everything that we measure falls within those ranges. And what they accommodate is for those ranges. So, let's do a little homework here real quick, shall we? I'm going to ask a specific question. What is 2 standard deviations above the mean average height in America. Okay, watch this. According to the empirical rule, 2 standard deviations above the average height in America would mean a person is roughly 6 inches taller than the average height for their gender. As most adults fall within two standard deviations of the mean height, which typically considered to be around 69 inches for men, 64 inches for women. Why? I just literally asked you that question. Why aren't doors over 6'6"? 69 inches is 5 feet 10 inches tall. 6 inches would put you at 6'4". Okay? Most doors don't accommodate much taller than that. For that reason. So now, let's add weight. Now let's go to weight. Two standard deviations above the average weight in America refers to a weight that is considered significantly higher than the average American weight, falling within the top 2.5% of the population. Falls within 2 standard deviations. Approximately 95% of the population falls within 2 standard deviations of the mean, leaving a remaining 5% split equally at the very high and very low tails of distribution. So let's ask another question. The average American female weighs 170 pounds. Now let's ask it. 181 pounds is the average weight of American, meaning men are almost 200 pounds. Well, they are 200 pounds, and women are 170. Let's see what this does. No, that's not what I want. So if I have to ask it this way, how much does the top 2% of Americans We don't care about body mass. I want weight. I want specific weight. Let's go back. See, they're going by BMI, and that's not what I want. I don't want that. That's just BS. How much does the top 2% of Americans weigh in pounds? Thank you. That's what I'm looking for. How many Americans are over 300 pounds? Let's see that. Okay. 1.5%. So we're talking about anybody. So again, 300 pounds, right? So anytime we build things, we try to build things to accommodate the high-end extremes, but not to the furthest infinitesimal extent. So, 1 in every 100 people. So if I lined up 100 people, 1 in 100 people will weigh over 300 pounds. So think about that for a minute. Do you really think people are going to build things to accommodate 1 out of 100? Or are they going to build things to accommodate 99 out of 100? When people build cars, they don't build cars for only 1% of the population. That's bad business. Do y'all understand that? Do y'all not understand that that's just dumb? Why am I going to create a vehicle just specifically that you personally can fit in comfortably when you are not the... I'm selling a car to what? 8 million people? $800 million people. And you think all 800 million people are going to buy that same vehicle? You think all 800 million people are going to buy the same exact vehicle? First of all of us have different tastes, so that's already going to be out the window. So what part of the market do you think I'm going to get by building a car that accommodates you over 300 pounds? Unless I build the absolute baddest car on the planet. and it's big. This is part of the reason why SUVs exist. This is part of the reason why minivans exist. This is part of the reason why pickup trucks exist. But even within them, the seats don't accommodate everybody. They're almost like cockpits. I don't see you trying to quick jump into a Corvette. Because guess what? You can't fit into a Corvette. So if you try to get a lift vehicle and requested a Corvette, they won't pick you up. So you're going to sue them too? Ma'am, I can't pick you up in this vehicle. You're not small enough to fit in this vehicle. You really can't fit in this vehicle. They should make a Corvette that I could fit in. Make it make sense. And here you are suing. I'm going to show y'all this video because this is where it gets real. I'm going to mute it so that way, because I don't want the video to play, but I want you to see something. Let's start the video off. Let's start it off right here. That's your girl Dank right there. See her? What is she doing? What is everybody else doing? This chick is sitting down while everybody else is standing up. There are women of various different sizes and shapes. Some of them society might even call obese themselves. But because of the extreme nature of obesity that she's carrying around, they don't look that way. I'm not suggesting that any of these women are obese outside of her. But what I'm saying is, even if they are, all your attention draws to her sitting down in a video. I'm going to continue letting this video carry because you're going to see for yourself. Fair use, by the way. What is she doing? Sitting. She ain't even. All right, check this out. Look at the vehicle. Look at the vehicle. There's a woman clearly over 6 feet sitting in the back seat on the top of the chair, on the top of the convertible. There is literally 1, 2, 3, 2 women in the back. Well, there's 1, 2, 3 women in the back. 4 women in the back. 5 women in the back. There's 5 women in the back right now. This is a 1970s vehicle, a battle tank. All right? It's a battle tank. These are the vehicles that you hit something, you ain't gonna really do much damage to your vehicle from in comparison. 5 women in the back. You think they all weigh 133 pounds? No. But what do you notice in relation to her size if she were to be back there? She can't even get in there. She can't even move that seat. She can move the seat forward, try to sit her behind back in there, and still have issues fitting in the back seat of that car. Is that a Caddy? I don't know what vehicle that is. I can't tell from 1970s vehicles. But clearly that's a 70s vehicle. She is sitting next to the vehicle. They ain't put her in the vehicle. Why she ain't suing the company that did the video? They discriminated against her weight. What if she said, I want to sit in the front seat? What if she said, I want to sit in the back seat? Did she even ask? Why didn't she ask if she did not? Because she herself knew it wasn't going to be a good look for the video. It wasn't going to be a good look. And if she's about her bread, like most rappers are, she wants to have the best image possible. And damn it, she doesn't have the best image right now. Even in the seat, even in the fashion that she's sitting in the vehicle. Why are we turning around and playing stupid? I'm going to even go one step further. Do you want me to lie to you? Or do you want me to tell you the truth? Even if I turn around with all good intentions, do you want me to lie or do you want me to tell you the truth? I'll wait. And your answer will tell everything that I need to know about your character. Anybody that resonates with Dank right now. Anybody that resonates with her. And how she feels about the subject. Anybody. I double, triple, quadruple dog dare you. Do you want me to tell you the truth or do you want me to lie? If you want me to lie to you, then it tells me all I need to know. And that also tells me why that lawsuit needs to be thrown out. Why is she not in the vehicle? Sitting down still. Sitting down still. Keep going. Not going to let the... Keep going. Look how wide the circumference of her hips are. What anything that is she going to be able to accommodate? What vehicle is going to accommodate her comfortably? Or comfortably, let's put it that way. What vehicle? But I digress. Keep going. She's still going. She's still sitting. She's still sitting. She's still sitting. What do y'all think about this? Everybody that's watching this video right now, put something in the comments, in the chat, or in the comments. Let me know, what do you think? What do you think is going on right here? I'm going to pause it one more time. She's sitting. She's not even standing to do a move right now. How long has she been sitting? For the last 53 seconds in this video, which you know they've repeatedly taped, recorded, taped and recorded, taped and recorded. Now, again, I'm not talking about anybody's attraction, attractiveness, because Lord knows I like thick women. I do. It's not a lie. I'm not hiding it. Ain't no hiding it anyway. But let me pause it. This young lady right here would be considered obese by our standards. They accounted for her size to fit in these vehicles. They did not go beyond the 1%. She is in the top 1/10 of 1%. Let's over 400 pounds. Let's see what that brings up. One to two. Let's see what 500 pounds does. People who weigh over 500 pounds to a normal weight range is extremely small. With only a tiny fraction of the population reaching such a high weight, representing a significantly lower percentage compared to those in a normal weight range. This is considered severe obesity and affects only a very small percentage of the population. Case in point. Case in point. Which is why I asked you originally, why don't they build doors for people over 6'5", 6'6"? because it's such an extreme amount of people, small amount of people that meet the requirement of 6'6". Very small. But let's get back to your girl real quick, because here we go. Keep going. Still sitting. Minute and 30 into the song. It's a 10-minute song. I'm not going to go through all 10 minutes of this, but I just want to get to the point. Other rappers come in with the cypher. And oh, by the way, I'm going to go one step further. Dank can rap. We're not talking about her talent, because Dank could actually rap. I would play some of it for you, but if I would just tell you, go find this song and listen to her lyrics. Go find her on YouTube and listen to her lyrics. She can rap. I'm not suggesting she's whack. I could be objective. We all could be objective. Just because I disagree with her motives in this video, in her lawsuit, doesn't mean I can't talk about her ability to rap. Oh Lord, the twerking. But here we go. Keep going. Only one sitting this whole time. Everybody rapping. Everybody standing while they waiting for their time to rap. She's sitting. In a folding chair, mind you. I'm just showing you. She ain't getting that car yet. She ain't getting that car yet. Here she go. 4 minutes into the song, she gets up. Like I said, she can rap. So when you hear her rap, she can rap. I don't know what caused her obesity. And I'm not going to speculate why she is obese. That's not where, this is not even what this is about. She stood up for a little while, she's standing up for a little while, and she's sitting back down again. She went back, sat down. She's standing up again because they're going through, but she's sitting down now. She's standing up again because, you know, they splice these videos. Back sitting down again. Sitting down again. Skip through a little bit. Sitting down, right? But this is what I'm trying to get at. This is affecting her health. There's nothing under the sun that could accommodate her under normal circumstances. But here we go. Got another one for you.
My body isn't the problem. The system is. Airlines are making it difficult for plus-size people to travel by designing seats that are too small for the average human.
Not true. The average human can fit in those seats because the average human is 199 pounds as a man, 170 pounds as a woman. So already your argument diffused. How much does she weigh? You think it's anywhere within 300 pounds? Because again, the average person, a seat on an airplane is meant to accommodate the largest person based on average. I'm not going to go into the details, but I've been on planes with people who are clinically obese, and they got into one seat. Be it almost uncomfortable, they fit into one seat. Nobody had to buy a second seat. How obese are you that you need, not forced to because of discriminatory practices, but because you cannot fit your entire body into one seat? You thought this was just one person? Those of y'all who are in the chat, do me a favor. If you are here right now, go ahead and like this video so that way this video gets out to more and more people and it meets the standards of the algorithm. All right? But I'm asking. She said for the average human. You're not average, ma'am. You're not even close to average. You are 2 to 3 standard deviations above average. Just like I'm 1 to 2 standards deviations below average in height. Oh, they should make the seats lower so I can put my feet on the ground. No. When I sit back in the chair, my legs be swinging. Y'all need to make better chairs. No. This chair that I'm in right now, I promise you, look, I got room. I can turn around right now and weigh over 300 pounds in this chair. Am I going to be a little wider in the chair? You best believe it. But I can fit in the chair. There are weight limits to chairs. They tell you if you weigh over 300 pounds, do not sit on these chairs. Don't believe me? But let's go. You know what? Let's keep going because I'm going to let you hear what she has to say first.
My worst experience on a flight was this one time when I was flying standby and I got stuck in the bulkhead row where the armrest couldn't be moved. The flight was full, so I had no choice but to stay in the seat. I endured excruciating pain for hours, wedged between the armrest, which left bruises on my body. I was on the verge of tears by the end and in so much pain that I almost vowed to never fly again. The physical pain lasted 4 days, but the emotional toll of being treated like I didn't belong was even harder.
Who treated you like you didn't belong? Who treated you like you didn't belong? So the flight attendants didn't issue you snacks like everybody else? Did the flight attendants not issue you your drinks like everybody else? Did your flight attendant turn around and not tell you to put your seat in the upright position and put your trays up against the chair in front of you? Did they not do that for you? Did they not insist that your carry-on luggage either fit underneath the seat in front of you or in the overhead compartments above you? How did they treat you differently from everybody else? So you're telling me that the airlines knew you were coming and turned around and said, hey, switch out of the chairs, so she can't fit in none of them. Is that what they did? Everybody else fit in them. Even ones that were clinically obese as well. But they may not have been your size. You are on the extreme end of obesity. You are on the extreme end of obesity. We're not talking about whether or not you are deserving of love and attraction and appreciation for who you are as a human being. We are not talking about that. You want something because you want to be special. Do you not understand 1% is special? Special. If you are 2 standards deviations below in intelligence, you are special. If you are 2 standard deviations above intelligence, you are special. If you are 2 standard deviations below strength and physical capabilities, you are special. If you are 2 standard deviations above physical strength and capabilities, you are special. Do you not understand that? They don't build commercial things for special people. You have to find something that accommodates your special situation. Hence why I'm a special education teacher. Doesn't mean my kids lack intelligence. Doesn't mean my kids are the most intelligent. It doesn't mean that my kids aren't the most intelligent. It means that there are certain things that fall above or below the standard deviations that requires those kids to have accommodations be met in order to have similar education experiences. However, education is not commercial. Education is based on an individual basis. Every kid is different. Everybody acknowledges that. So therefore, while there is general education, we teach everybody the same stuff, meaning we are expecting everybody to fall within the standard deviation of normal, or average, better yet. We do expect other people to either fall below or above those averages. Ma'am, you are well above average.
Recover from. Airlines aren't doing anything at all to make it easier for plus-size people to travel.
They're not, and they're not going to, because guess what's going to happen? Let me put it. They already made it accommodated for plus size people to travel. You want to know what it is? Buy 2 seats ahead of time. Why? Because when you raise one of those armrests up, what happens is you can fit into 2 seats. They even have extenders for you to fit on your seatbelt if you don't fit the standard seatbelt. Do they not? However, it is a commercial flight. 1% of the population is going to not fit in 1 seat. So they require you to buy 2. But what they're not going to do is turn around and limit the amount of capacity that they can fit into an airplane just because you want to fly. They're not going to do it. They're never going to do it. And even if they could do it, guess what? It is going to be a limited supply. So let me give it to you like this. On an average flight, there's 300 people on an average flight. Guess how many seats they're going to have to accommodate you if they even built them into the plane? 3. So now guess what? If 3 people on your flight are as obese as you are and as clinically obese as you are, guess what's going to happen? You ain't getting on the plane. So what are you going to do? Complain that they didn't accommodate you? Man, we have 3 seats on the flight that can accommodate your size and your weight. You were slow to acquire them. It's no different than if I wanted to fly to New York right now. If I got on United Airlines website right now to get on a flight to New York for tomorrow morning at 6:00 a.m., and I went in there and there are no seats left, can I complain about the fact that there's no seats available for me to fly in? Yes or no? The answer would be no, right? So, let's say they will provide those seats. Again, I already told you, I'm giving you the number. Without a shadow of a doubt, I will ask, you know what? I will do you a favor and ask. Find out from a business perspective, if they were to build seats that accommodates an obese person beyond 1% of the average person, 1% of the weight, the average weight of people, or 2 standard deviations above the average weight of people, above women, mind you. How many seats realistically would they install in an airplane to accommodate your size and still only charge you 1 seat? Bet money. I bet money. The answer is 3% of the capacity of the airplane. So if the capacity of an airplane can fit 300 people, I promise you, 3 to 6 seats. And guess what they're going to also say? Every seat like that we install, we are losing one person. That we're losing an extra person. So if I install 3 seats, I also lost 3 people that I could have accommodated on that plane. If not for you taking up space. Why shouldn't I charge you double? Because you are taking up the seat of another person. You are taking up the equivalent of another seat of another person. This is not being hateful. This is spitting facts. And this is about holding you accountable.
When you're forced to buy 2 seats or squeeze into a space that wasn't designed for your body, it's not just...
It is designed for your body. You are not designed for your body. You are not designed the way your body was meant to be, because you are carrying an exorbitant amount of body fat. You are carrying an extreme level of adipose body tissue beyond the standard deviation of normal. Well beyond the standard deviation of normal. Nobody's saying you can't be fat, but there's extremes. This guy is in the extreme category. He's easily 500 pounds. He ain't 300, I promise you. He is not 300. When you need 2 seats, you're not 300 pounds.
It's dehumanizing.
No. So, it's dehumanizing. They put you in the cargo hold where luggage goes? Did they do that? Did they hit you on the back of the plane and just tell you enjoy the flight? Did they put you in the wheel well? Did they put you in the below deck of the plane with all the other pets and stuff? Did they do that? Highly doubt it. That's dehumanizing. Y'all need to stop using words to try to feign empathy for your condition that you are in. Whether you put yourself there or it is a medical condition, I don't care. I care about your condition, but I don't care based on your feelings. I don't care. You are trying to force people to do something for you that is not required under normal circumstances. Everything in this country, in this world, is built for high levels of extreme cases. 6'6", 300 pounds. If you're taller or bigger than that, they can't help you. If you're taller than 6'6", you're going to have to buy first class. You're going to have to. That's your only option. Because I guarantee you're not sitting in those seats at 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", 7 feet, 8 feet. You're not sitting in those chairs. You're not going to fit. That's dehumanizing. Dehumanizing is putting you in a place where humans are not. You're still on the plane. You're still getting served snacks. You're still getting served drinks. You're still being talked to with respect and dignity. That is not dehumanizing.
Well, things like having seatbelt extenders readily available or offering larger seating options could make a world of difference.
The seatbelt extenders are there. They are readily available. Maybe there's more of you that need them. And there's not enough. Because 300 people are in a plane, 1% of the population is in extreme obesity. Therefore, I need 3 seatbelt extenders. If there's none available, guess what that means? There are 3 other people on this flight that weighs anywhere within the extremes that you do. What are they supposed to do? Give up their seatbelt extenders for you to make you feel special? No, not going to happen. Knock it off. It's ridiculous. The entitlement that people have nowadays is ridiculous. If you are suffering from a medical condition that is causing your obesity, guess what? Seek medical attention. Follow the guidelines for those medical attentions and then therefore lose the weight. No excuses. Not saying you got to be uber tiny either. By the size of your head, ma'am, I know you're a large person. You are a large person. Nobody's disputing that. But you ain't supposed to be anywhere near the 400 or 500 pounds that you are right now. Absolutely not. There are people that I train on a regular basis that will tell you, or there are people that I talk to on a regular basis about concerns about their weight that we discuss. I don't come to them and say, I'm concerned about your weight. That's not how those discussions go. As a matter of fact, they will be able to tell you that I'm the person that tells them that the size that specifically the military is telling them to be is asinine. It is not realistic. Don't even try to reach it. 5'8", and they're telling her that she needs to weigh 155 pounds. Right now, that very same person that I'm talking about right now is in fact just a shade over 200 pounds. And I promise you, if you saw the before and afters, you will instantly notice there was a change. Instantly notice there's a change. In her physique, in her face, in her body structure. She's still a large woman though. And she is a lot, at 200 pounds, she is a lot leaner. There's not much that she can lose. I promise you, she will look thin. And when I say thin, I'm not talking about, ooh, she's so thin. I'm talking about she will look thin. Olive oil-like at 170 pounds. Do you understand what I'm telling you? So make no mistake about it. I am not here to tell somebody that you have to be a specific size in order to get on a plane. There are always going to be large people in the world, which is what they're accommodating for when they sit here and say 300 pounds, 6'6" is as far as we can go, because nobody normally exceeds these sizes and be healthy, mind you. No one exceeds those. When we get to the extreme, 6'6" is an extreme height. When we get to weight, 300 pounds is an extreme weight. Guess who meets those demands? Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson will be uncomfortable on a commercial airline, but he will be able to fit based on the designs of an airplane. Do y'all understand where I'm getting from right now? Put a 1 if you understand in the chat if you understand. Put a 1 in the comments if you understand where I'm coming from. If you disagree, put a 2.
This isn't a luxury, it's a basic human right to travel with dignity.
It is a luxury because though you are in the 1%. Anybody that has a 1% salary has a standard deviation, two standard deviations above average as a salary is considered wealthy, rich. They're considered rich. If you make 2 standard deviations above the average salary, you are rich. Knock it off. You may not be the extreme cases of rich like Elon Musk and now the president of the United States, who is now worth $60 billion overnight almost. But it is a luxury when you are putting yourself in a luxurious position.
When people comment, just lose weight, my response is that comment completely misses the point.
How does it miss the point? You lose the weight, you won't have these problems. You are damn near starting fires with your kneecaps. You are so knock-kneed. You are struggling so hard to maintain your balance that you are becoming slew-footed. You are slew-footed right now. As you walk.
Moments like this can be very frustrating, but I try to focus on educating others and reminding them that...
Educating who? Stupid people? Because I promise you, the people that are educated in this field right now, like myself, is going to tell you kick rocks and go on with that BS. Because right now, we're not talking about accommodating you to wear clothes. You can wear clothes. They got clothes. And oh, guess what? If they don't have clothes for you, what does that tell you? That you are finding yourself on such an extreme end that they don't even build clothes for you to fit in. And that is extreme, extreme.
Everybody deserves dignity and respect.
They do. Everybody does deserve dignity and respect regardless of their size. You are 100% right about that. But you cannot fit on a freaking airplane and requires more than 1 seat and think that you deserve more space than everybody else and not have to pay for it. That's what it is. If you are taking up the space of 2 people on an airplane, why shouldn't you pay for 2 seats? Make it make sense. If you don't want to take up 2 seats, you have to lose weight in order to do that. That's the only logical explanation for you to be able to not fit in 2 seats. Or fit in anything that is the equivalent of 2 seats. Even if they made a special seat for you, you are fitting in the equivalent of 2 seats. And they're still going to charge you. So if you have to fit, if they accommodated an obese seat, if they built an obese seat for you, they're still going to charge you extra for that seat. That's how the world works. Because you are costing them money. Has nothing to do with dignity. They're not doing it to humiliate you. They're trying to have the most cost-effective way to travel the most amount of people safely in the quickest amount of time to make the most amount of money. End story. So, they're not treating you with a lack of dignity. They're not sitting there saying, ma'am, are you sure you want this snack? It's high in calories. That, if I heard somebody do that on a plane, I will be the first person standing next to you cussing that flight attendant out and possibly getting kicked off the plane right along with you. Because that is disrespectful. That is dehumanizing. Ma'am, you weigh over 400 pounds. Do you want a soda? Are you sure you need a soda? If you don't give me a soda like everybody else does, you better get out my face with that. Absolutely, 100%. I'm on your side. Wouldn't recommend it because it's empty calories, and I'm all for that. I'm all for reminding you that it's empty calories, and I'm not saying as a flight attendant I would remind you of that. I'm talking about from a health standpoint. It is empty calories. But for somebody that is supposed to be of service to you on an airplane while you made requests, if you turn around and you made that request and somebody said, ma'am, you shouldn't have that, and I'm not going to serve it to you. No. If you paid for 10 soda, if you had your complimentary drink and then you asked for more drinks, but you paid for them and they don't want to accommodate you, problem. They do cut you off from alcohol, but that is to turn around and maintain the dignity of the people around you if you're drinking excessively.
I've faced discrimination from airline staff when traveling more times than I haven't. It ranges from being stared at or mocked to outright dismissive.
Any airline staff that's mocking you deserves to be fired. Any airline staff that is, it depends on what staring is, because some people are just hypersensitive about other people looking at them. You're an anomaly. You're going to get stared at. Sorry. Just like Shaquille O'Neal gets stared at. Nobody stares at Shaquille O'Neal because he's a good-looking dude. It doesn't happen. People don't stare at NBA players merely because they're NBA players, but because they're freakishly tall. Full fun fact, there's a guy at the Costco that I frequently shop at. He is 6'9". I asked him myself, because you want to know why? I was staring at him. Because staring at him to see a person that's 6'9" is not normal. I have a student in middle school right now. He is 6'6". In middle school. Who knows how much taller he's going to get, if at all. But he's freakishly tall. When he's walking through the hallway, you can't miss him. Why do you think supermodels are over 5'9"? Because it's not normal for women to be over 5'9". Why do you think they choose supermodels that are over 5'9"? Because people stare at women that are over 5'9". No matter what they look like, they're going to stare at a woman that is over 5'9". And everybody knows it. So why do you think that you are exempt from being stared at? Just like a woman who is above average in breast size. Why do you think she gets stared at? You think it's because men haven't seen breasts before? Do you think it's because lesbian women haven't seen breasts before? No, it's because it is such an extreme level of breast tissue, real or fake, that it defies the logic of sense to see a human being with that much breast tissue. Everything in extreme gets stared at. Angelina Jolie's lips get stared at. Why? Because the average white woman doesn't have the size of lips that Angelina Jolie has. Mick Jagger gets stared at. Why? Because the average white male does not have the same size lips as Mick Jagger. Attractive or not to you is irrelevant. That is irrelevant. And this type of crap has to stop.
One of the worst examples was when
Ma'am, you are literally in a shopping cart. In a ride-along shopping cart. Why? Because your body, even your own body cannot support you. Why do you think Miss Dang DeMoss is sitting down for the majority of the video that I played for you? Because even her body cannot accommodate her body. Has nothing to do with dignity and respect. It has everything to do with what is physically possible to be accommodated for. You're gonna sue yourself? My ankles ain't supporting me the way it should because I deserve dignity and respect on having ankles that can support me at my weight and my size. I'm gonna sue God for not giving me the ankles that I need to have in order to walk around like everybody else. Somebody stop me. Somebody stop me. I'm going to sue God because the weight that I carry, my knees are not supporting my weight. My knees don't support my weight, so guess what? I should sue God. Because I weigh over 300 pounds and my body can't possibly support that much weight. And I deserve knees that can. They don't even make artificial knees that support that much weight. Did you know that? They tell you, if you weigh over a certain amount, you're going to have knee surgery multiple times. Because the average knee replacement is supposed to last for 30 years, but if you weigh beyond a certain amount, you are going to find yourself having knee surgery sooner than later. Again, the lighter you are, within reason, the longer your knee replacement will last. Nobody's asking you to shrink down to a size that is so beyond the levels of understanding that you can't, that just to say you got a knee replacement that lasts 30 years. Ma'am, you are literally in a riding cart.
busting wheelchair assistance because I have an invisible illness that affects my oxygen levels.
It's called obesity.
Makes walking certain distances incredibly challenging. Despite this, I was forced to walk up a jet bridge because the staff looked at me, decided I was too big for them to push, and assumed I could walk.
Ma'am, you're walking. Number one. Number two, let's go here. I'm a world record powerlifter. I am 155 pounds as we speak right now. When I compete, I get down to 148 pounds At 144 pounds, I lifted over 1,000 pounds at a powerlifting competition, which puts me at an extreme level of the standard deviation of strength. 4% of the population is either as strong as or stronger than me at my weight. I deadlifted 405 pounds, 402.5 pounds officially. I've deadlifted as much as 430 pounds on camera. Okay? Pushing you in a wheelchair is not something that would be easy for me to do. Mind you. And I'm freakishly strong. You expect the average airline attendant to be able to push you? Have you seen average airline attendants? They're usually not even of young age. They're not even young. They're older than I am in some cases. And I'm about to be 48. And you really think that the average 48-year-old is going to be able to push around a woman that weighs over 300 pounds? You think that that's just going to happen? You think that's just going to be easy? So you thought that they just did it because you're fat. You thought that they did it because they just hated your guts because you're fat. As opposed to they're not strong enough to accommodate you. Do you know that less than 1% of the population can bench press over 225 pounds? Can squat 225? So what makes you think that anybody's going to be physically strong enough to push you through an airport as you're walking into the place with your luggage? This is the point where everybody has to understand the reality of life.
Experiences like this are dehumanizing and serving a harm.
Stop using that damn word dehumanizing because it's pissing me off. They did not put you on something that no human uses. They didn't put you in a horse trailer to drive you to the airport. They didn't put you in the bed of a pickup. That's dehumanizing. They didn't turn around and have you lay on a slab and ride you around through the airport. That's not what they did. They asked you to walk, which is what humans do. Now, if you are physically disabled and are incapable of walking, where it's clearly evident you can, because every video that I've shown you in, you are walking, except for a couple. But because you do not want to do the hard work of walking through the airport, you call it dehumanizing.
Reminder of the systemic biases that
Systemic biases. They accommodate the extremes of everything you can imagine. They accommodate for the extremes of height and weight. You are beyond that. That is not systemic bias. Systemic bias would be that they don't accommodate black people or people that are brown. Do you know how many people that are brown in the world? We are well beyond the standard deviation of over 1% in this country, if not the world. In this country, we are 13% of the population. We are 13 times the standard deviation of over two standard deviations, which means we fall between normal and standard deviation number 1, which they always accommodate for. So that means if you told me you're not letting me on the plane because I'm black, you are still You are choosing not to accommodate me, even though I fall within the standard deviations, within 2 standard deviations of what is normal. Now, if you told me there's only 3 black people in the world, and there's some special contraption that black people must use in order to fly, and they don't have it, guess what? Suck it up, buttercup. I can't accommodate you. There's not enough of you flying for me to even force myself to build something to accommodate you on this plane. That's what we're dealing with right now. You can't have it your way. You can't.
And those with invisible disabilities face.
Invisible disabilities like what? You got COPD. I don't see you walking around with an oxygen tank. I don't see you walking around with, things up your nose. That would be an invisible disability that needs to be accommodated for because you can't walk from point A to point B. The reason why you can't walk from point A to point B is because, ma'am, you are obese and you are tired because your muscular density does not accommodate the ability for you to utilize oxygen effectively. You are literally top heavy in your obesity. Your obesity is sitting on your chest. You're not even, see, this is where, again, I'm going to go here. This is me professionally speaking now. You do not have enough breast tissue to even justify saying that you are just top heavy. Like some women are walking around with F cups, J cups, G cups in their obesity, which would mean and suggest that when they lost weight, they are going to still have an extreme amount of breast tissue after they lose the weight because they were always going to be on the extreme end of breast tissue based on their build. Ma'am, if you lost the weight that you are meant to lose, you will be not well endowed. I promise you. Promise you. You would not be well endowed without plastic surgery. Now, with that being said, you have an inordinate amount of weight in your upper body region. That is forcing the weight, and I'm going to physics now. I'm actually going to go into physics now. All that weight is sitting on your upper girdle. It is literally like you're wearing shoulder pads that weigh over 100 pounds. Now, you have shoulder pads that are sitting on you that weigh over 100 pounds. And let me see what starts to happen to your body. Do you know the science behind crucifixion? Let me explain it to you. The science behind crucifixion is that they're nailing your arms and feet to a cross. And you have a little tiny thing that you're allowed to put part of your body on. You're not putting your full weight on that beam that your body is sitting on. What happens is that all of your weight is now being compressed onto your lungs, and it's just compressing. And as it's compressing, you can't breathe. You are dying via asphyxiation. That is how a crucifixion works. Ma'am, you are suffering from similar issues. If you lost the majority of that weight, I promise you, your invisible condition would exacerbate. Even if you still have an invisible condition, I promise you, it won't be as severe as it is as you claim it to be now. Okay?
How does all this this make me feel, you ask? Well, truth be told, it's devastating. Being forced in spaces that were not designed...
Ma'am, you can't even put your arms down at your side. My body is not the problem, the system is. Bullcrap. This is where the FBI is kicking in, ladies and gentlemen. False positive body imagery. It needs to end. I am not shaming you. I'm explaining to you what is going on and why is it happening and what can we do about it. Again, nobody's suggesting that you should not be large. Nobody's suggesting that you shouldn't be large. Nobody's suggesting that you shouldn't be treated like a human being everywhere you go. However, your accommodations for such an extreme level is not fair to everyone else around you. You want to take up 2 seats and only pay for 1, when everybody has to pay for the seat that they fit in. I pay for 1 seat so I can fit in 1 seat. They make 1 seat to fit 300-pound people.
It makes you feel invisible, like you don't matter. The physical pain is one thing, but the emotional toll, the shame, the humiliation, the constant message that your body isn't welcome, well, it's unbearable.
Somebody's gonna love you. That's the type of thing where if you're saying it's unwelcome, no. Nobody's saying you're not welcome. Nobody said get the hell off the plane. They said, ma'am, if you're going to be on this plane, you're taking up more than 1 seat, and you're taking up more than 1 seat comfortably, you're going to have to pay for that seat. That's it. Why is this all of a sudden taboo? If I wanted to get on a ride more than once, what am I going to have to do? Pay for the ride.
But it's also enraging. It's a reminder that this system wasn't built with bodies like mine in mind.
Because your body, that your body is so far into the extreme, they didn't have you in mind. They didn't imagine you. They looked at the science and said, anybody that weighs over 300 pounds is an extreme case. Regardless of whether they were meant to be 300 pounds or whether they weren't meant to be 300 pounds. Anybody that is 300 pounds is an extreme case of size, not obesity, because there's plenty of bodybuilders that weighed over 300 pounds. You think they fit in 1 seat? I'm sure they didn't. Did you hear them complaining about having to buy 2? More than likely not, because they knew how big they got. They know how big they are. They know they're not going to be able to fit in 1 seat with 44-inch thighs. They're not going to.
And that's exactly why I'm fighting so hard to change it.
And you're going to keep fighting. You're going to fight hard. Instead of fighting hard to actually lose the weight, you're going to fight hard to get people to turn around and do something that is so beyond the pale that they're not going to do it. They're not going to accommodate you, because when they go to court and they say, Your Honor, we went 2 standard deviations above the normal weight of the largest human, which is a male, which is at 200 pounds. We anticipated 2 standard deviations above a man that weighs 200 pounds to fit in one of our seats. One of our seats. This woman exceeds the weight of the standard deviation, 2 standard deviations of a man who is larger than she is, that is larger than the average female. Do y'all not understand this? This is the reason why it's happening. You're fighting an uphill fight, and apparently you can't walk it. And you need to knock it off. Let it go. This false positive body imagery nonsense has got to stop. Nobody's dehumanizing you because you have to buy an extra seat. As a matter of fact, knowing the rules, you should have bought the extra seat before you even got your behind on the plane to begin with. But you wanted to cause a scene to be seen so that way you could turn around and make some argument that nobody's trying to hear because you are in such an extreme case of obesity. And ain't nobody falling for it. Nobody's falling for the okie doke.
This isn't about luxury or convenience.
It is.
It's about basic human rights.
Basic human rights is that you just can't fly. We won't let you on the plane, period. That is basic human rights. You deserve to be able to fly, but you don't deserve to have special treatment because you think you're special. You don't get that kind of treatment. If that's the case, build your own airline where obese people can fly, pay for one seat, and let me see how long your company lasts. I want to see it. It is not economically attainable or economically sustainable for anybody to turn around and even do it. There's a reason why they don't have one.
And I won't stop until the world recognizes that.
I bet you die before they do. Bet money. If you don't change yourself, you're going to die before that fight that you're fighting actually changes anything. You will never enjoy that luxury that you're trying to attain. You'll never enjoy it. Not in your lifetime. Because even if you win the lawsuit, do you know how long it's going to take for airlines to manufacture the seats and install them into the planes that already exist and into newer planes when they build them? Do you know how long that's going to take? At your current health condition, you ain't going to see it in the next 20 years. By the time you go through litigation and accommodation, you ain't going to be alive that long if you don't change your health condition right now. So, which one will happen faster? You losing the weight to get on the plane or you getting what you want to get on that plane? Which one do you think is going to happen first? Or should happen first? Average weight limit to chairs. Y'all think I'm kidding. The average weight limit for a chair depends on the type of chair, but usually is around 200 to 250 pounds. Standard office chairs typically can hold 250 pounds. Heavyweight office chairs can hold up to 800 pounds and are made with more durable materials. Dining chairs typically can hold 250 pounds, but more durable chairs can hold up to 350 pounds. Armchairs can typically hold up to 400 to 500 pounds and are often taller and have thick fabric. Recliners often typically hold 200 to 350 pounds, but factors like seat size and upholstery materials can affect the weight limit. You gonna sue everybody because you can't fit in every chair? This is where I'm gonna start landing this plane now. I know I've been on almost 2 hours on this subject because this is out of pocket. Just because you want to participate in something doesn't mean it's meant for you. Everybody wanted to go to a Diddy party until they found out what it was about. Shoot, even some of them still wanted to go. But if that party wasn't meant, you know, Dave Chappelle said it best. I was never invited to a Diddy party. And that's when I found out I'm ugly. Whether or not he's ugly is not my place to say, but he said that. I'm quoting him. What he's saying is essentially that Diddy party was not meant for him. Do you think he threw a fit about it? No. Because clearly he had no desire in even participating in any such activities. But on top of all of that, it wasn't meant for him. He couldn't have it his way. Even at Burger King, you can't have it all your way. You can have it your way based on what is available to you. You can't ask for prime rib on a Whopper when prime rib is not an ingredient that they provide. You can have it your way based on what we provide you. We're not telling you you can't have snacks on the plane. We're not telling you you can't have soda on the plane. We're not telling you you can't sit on the plane. We're not telling you you can't carry luggage on the plane. We didn't tell you you can't do anything that anybody else can't do. You can't bring a gun on the plane. Can you? I'm talking about on the plane. Not in your luggage. Not in your luggage that goes underneath in the under compartment of the plane. I'm talking about you can't carry a gun onto the plane. You gonna try? You gonna force your way into having the right to have that or not? Bet you get kicked off the plane first. You can't cuss out the staff. Bet you get kicked off the plane. You can't make threats on the plane. Bet you get kicked off the plane like everybody else. So if they're going to treat you like everybody else, for the most part, it weighs under 300 pounds. It's just that simple. 99% of the world weighs less than 300 pounds. Who are they going to accommodate for? Guys, that's my time. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like, subscribe, share, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. Have a nice day. Be the best you. Class is Stoutt.